Okay, I think let us start now, Zahira.
Test, test, test. Right. Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome to all lecturers and students from University Teknologi Mara, Universitas Islam Riau, University Airlangga, University Sumatera Utara, Rajamangala University of Technology Sriwijaya, and a very most welcome to our special speaker guest today, Dr. Nurmazilah, Dato Mahzan. Welcome to the Accounting Global Week 2023. With our session title today, Future Relevance of the Accountancy Profession, Harnessing Technology for Sustainability. Before we get started, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Nurmazilah binti Abdul Wahid, and I am the moderator for today's session. So today you will be hearing a presentation from Dr. Nurmazilah Dato Mahzan, former Chief Executive Officer of the Malaysian Institute of Accountants. Before we get started, allow me to share the background of our respected speaker guest today. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Nurmazilah Dato Mahzan has recently been appointed as a member of IFRS Foundation Integrated Reporting and Connectivity Council, IRCC. She was a former member of Integrated Reporting Framework Board, as well as the former Chief Executive Officer of the Malaysian Institute of Accountants, MIA. In MIA, she led and implemented the transformation of risk management system, governance enhancement technology adoption, and branding. She also spearheaded strategic, operational, and financial plan to ensure effectiveness, and efficiency. In addition, she was also involved in auditing and accounting regulatory function, including financial statement review, audit quality, and professional ethics. She has engaged with stakeholders of different sectors, locally and globally, including ministries, government agencies, companies, media, universities, business leaders, and individuals. She also delivered keynote addresses and speeches locally and globally. Her recent work revolves around integrated reporting, ESG, and future corporate reporting. Dr. Nurmazilah is a certified HRDF trainer, certified public accountant, a certified internal auditor, and holds the certified risk management and assurance qualification. She also holds a PhD in accounting from the University of Birmingham, United Kingdom. She recently completed a course on climate change and net zero from the University of Cambridge. Dr. Mahzan is a member of MIA, MICPA, CIMA, IIA Malaysia, as well as an Asian CPA. That's so inspiring. Among the ESG training conducted by her ESG awareness program, 2 days workshop on advanced corporate reporting with integrated thinking, 3 days workshop on integrated reporting for practitioners, and integrated thinking for value creation. She also spoke on various forums such as the ESG conference organized by MIA, National Conference on Internal Auditing and Responsible Value Creation through Governance by SIDC. So now, moving along to our sessions, I would like to welcome Dr. Nurmazilah Dato Mahzan, who will be speaking to us on today's topic, which is future relevance of accountancy profession, harnessing technology for sustainability. I guess, are you ready, Doctor?
Yeah, I am. Thank you.
So, how are
Right.
you today, Doctor?
Well, I'm doing very well, and I'm very pleased to be invited to speak at this conference. I think it's a global accountancy week, which
Yes.
I think I'm looking forward to have the interaction and the conversation with the lecturers as well as the students. Yep. Okay, so I suppose it's time for me to start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I would like to greet Professor Madya Dr. Abdullah, who is actually the Ketua Pusat Pengajian Fakulti Perakaunan UiTM Perlis, Associate Professor Dr. Nihel from Higher Institute of Business Admin, University of Sfax, Tunisia, and all the lecturers from UiTM Perlis, UIR, USU, UNAIR, RUTS, and SFAX University, and most importantly, all the students. And either you are from degree level or diploma level, and all those who are actually joining us this afternoon. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and wishing you a very good, good program. Right. I think this is a very interesting topic about being future relevant. And let me share my slides. But before that, may I know who among you have actually taken your lunch? There is a raise hand button. Each of you can just raise hand if you have taken your lunch, so I would be able to know who hasn't. No one? No one has taken their lunch? Right. Okay. I can see Auni has done so. And yeah, Akmal, you've taken your lunch. That's good. You will have plenty of energy. Aiman, yes. Thank you, Aiman. Good to know that you've taken your lunch. Right. I think it's important that we have the energy and we have the passion to move forward with this topic. And let me just share my slides, and we'll go through the slides, and we'll have more discussions. Well, I think this topic about future relevance is actually very important. Being relevant, not just now, but in the future, will first actually connect us to the word sustainability. Sustainability means that you'll be able to contribute, you'll be able to do what you like to do, you'll be able to get a job, you'll be able to exercise or use your skills, not only today, not only the medium term, like 3 years to come, but uh, for another 5 to 10 years, and probably for another 20 to 30 years. So this year actually marked my 30th years of working. And of course, I've been working in various sectors throughout my career journey. So in order to be relevant, yeah, I hope I'm still relevant. In order to be relevant, we need to identify what actually affect our environment, what actually affect the trends within our ecosystem. Yeah, either the business or the government, or even the economy, then as well as the social context. So that actually enable us to identify what do we need to know and whether we need to learn and upskill ourselves. So in order to be future relevant and to ensure we are relevant to the marketplace as well as the ecosystem, we need to know what are the trends that are ongoing, and how the trends will be affecting us. So this is where my first portion of this presentation would be looking at the trends, what are the risks from these trends, and the opportunities for us, whether you, of course, focusing on accounting student and accountancy profession, but even if you are not accountancy students, accountancy accountants, or you are not in accountancy profession, it's also important for you to identify the trends as well as recent opportunities. So these are actually a collation, comprised of various issues or various matters that becoming more important and gaining traction throughout the last few years, and it's probably gaining more tractions in the next few years. We can see that the globalization is getting to the peak, and we can see that climate, yeah, is something that we have been talking a lot the past 1 year, especially in Malaysia. But globally, we've been talking about climate, I think, for the last 10 or 15 years. And we also talk about, the cost of living. We talk about data. We talk about cybersecurity. And we also talk about capitalism having a turning point. And capitalism is changing. Now, I think the World Economic Forum talk about stakeholders capitalism rather than shareholders capitalism. So those are changing, and the mindset of the changing, and how people view the world to come is also changing. And this is where I think we need to know what are changing. We need to know that these issues are gaining traction, and we need to read more about it. Yeah, so this is, I think, would be the starting point. The presentation today hopefully will become the trigger factor for you to explore further on these topics. Yeah. Right, and one of the guide that we always use within the corporate sector, the business sector, is this guide by World Economic Forum on the Global Risk Report. Global Risk Report is being issued every year, and this is the Global Risk Report for 2023, and I'm going to discuss a bit of the content of the report. If we look at the global risk report, you look at the top end. If you can see my cursor, the top end here constitute the highest risk, the highest risk affecting the global economy and the global ecosystem. So you can see that one of the highest risks relate to energy supply crisis. For countries like in the European Union, they do have challenge in terms of getting the affordable energy for the people in that area. And they are also not looking for affordable energy. They are looking for affordable clean energy that are not actually disrupting or polluting the environment. They try to avoid have getting the energy from coal, or getting the energy that actually emits carbon. Then the other thing is about cost of living crisis. So it is interrelated with energy. When those countries having energy crisis, the cost of production would be higher. The cost of producing food, the cost of producing cars, producing goods, for example, producing textile or attire, and even producing technology or technological items like gadgets would be more expensive, and that actually increase the cost of living. It increased the cost of and finished goods, and it increased the cost of transportation, and ultimately the cost of goods that we purchase every day would be also increasing, and that also affect the cost of doing business, because the cost of products, the cost of supplies are already increasing, and it affect the cost of doing business as well. So I think these then, you know, drill down to the inflation. So we can see that there's a rising inflation, and recently, I think early this year, we see the problems of rising interest rates as well. Even in Malaysia, you can see that Bank Negara has actually revised upward the interest rate a few times. So interest rate, increase in interest rate would then increase the cost of funding, especially if the business are actually funded through bank borrowings. So that actually will affect their financial costs, and that will affect as well the total cost of doing business, as well as cost of producing goods and services. And further down, you can see that we do also have a risk from food supply crisis that is again interrelated, and is also caused by energy crisis, cost of living, and food supply is getting higher. And when food supply is getting higher, the food will not become more affordable. It will become less affordable with people. Then there could be social problems in terms of hunger and lack of food supplies. And then moving down is about cyber attacks. Cyber attacks, cybersecurity has becoming problems that includes, cyber fraud, loss of data, and all that. And then next is about disruption in global supply, okay, for non-food goods, and also the weaponization of economic policy, debt crisis, failure to set and meet national net zero targets, weakening of human rights. Yeah, this is another area, weakening of human rights, where perhaps there is limit to the ability for people to move around, the ability for people to communicate, and the ability for people to get decent wage. So that is about weakening of human rights. And then deployment of nuclear weapons. And I think this is also because of geopolitical risk and deployment of chemical and biological weapons. We still have a little bit of COVID-19, but I think we have managed to mitigate and reduce tremendously on the risk of COVID. And the other challenge is about risk is about structural failures in health systems. So this year, these are the group of risks that they have actually identified, and it means that it may happen. Those in the top end, on the right top end, would potentially most probable would happen. Yeah, if those are not controlled or mitigated. So, which I think in layman terms, we are looking at potentially cost of living is increasing, but I think is normal potentially. In Malaysia, we have observed that really the cost of living is actually increasing. So I think this is where we need to be mindful. And if we think about accountants who are actually managing the cost side of the business or any organization or household, accountants play a very important role in actually in managing the costs. Yeah, so there from here we can see that there is a big role to be played by accountants. Right. And if we look at a bit of a longer term, yeah, a bit of longer term, 2 years to 10 years, they do have some sort of of identification, but more or less it's more of a projection. It will be changing every year, but this is based on all the current data that they have, and then from the data they actually look forward in terms of what potentially be the risk in 2 years to 10 years. So again, in the next 2 years, you can see that next 2 years, you can see that cost of living crisis is still, one of the main challenge. And then, but the next 10 years, you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4 in the next 10 years, those are all mainly related to environment. Yeah, like failure to mitigate climate change, of climate change adaptation, natural disaster, extreme weather events, and biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse. So, and this is, I think, where we have to be mindful. So being mindful, and we have to be ready. We have to be ready in terms of our preparation, in terms of skills and knowledge to manage these risks for the next 10 years. Yeah. So like, I think there are the two areas here, those above 2 years and those within 10 years. So you can see that the one above 2 years also include like erosion of social cohesion, the number 5, and societal polarization. So from these two table, you can see that it includes factors such as the green one relates to environment, the red one relates to more of social context, and the yellow one relates to geopolitical. So basically, in the nutshell, in the next 2 years to 10 years, we can see that there are challenges that we are going to face, and then we need to identify whether we are ready for the challenges, and we need to also look again whether our skill sets are relevant, yeah, to help organizations, to help our future employers, if you're still students, in managing these risks. So this is the relevance of identifying the trends and the risk moving forward. But on the other hand, businesses may see opportunities as well. Yeah. So, for example, when we talk about social cohesion and societal polarization, number five, then there will be companies that bring about platforms such as TikTok, platforms such as the one that we're using now, WebEx, to get people to connect together. And I think hotels or tourism will also bring products that will try to overcome the erosion of social cohesion. So each of these factors come with risk, but on the other hand, it also brings opportunity, new products or new services that you can offer to help people deal with the risks and the challenges. Right. So this is where the word sustainability is actually a mindset change for especially for those who are about my age, yeah. Because those who are within my age, probably who we were born like 50 years ago or more than that, we are very used to look at or to be our mindset is being shaped up by capitalism. Yeah, those who have capital, like financial capital, they will be able to start their business and they employ people and then they get profit from that business. But I think what happened is over those years, over the last 30 years throughout today, we can see things are changing. We can see that capitalists that actually, do their business or conduct their operation for profit maximization would not be sustainable because people may not want to work with them anymore if they are not taking care of the wages for the employees. And the society would not probably give them license to operate if they are not taking care of the societal needs, and government may not favor them over government policies. So therefore the mindset is changing. It has changed and is changing, where there's a lot of advocacy, there's a lot of advice and trend, okay, where businesses need to look at, of course, to be sustainable in terms of their profit. And they also need to ensure that within their profit making incentive, they need to take care of the planet and they need to take care of the people. Okay, that's very important. Because just take an example, if we look at an oil and gas, we have seen that, oil and gas is really a very lucrative sector. But the oil and gas reserve in Malaysia can only sustain for another 15 years. Yeah, if you are a student and your age is 25, by your age of 35, our oil and gas reserve may not be there anymore. Right. So what do you do? Yeah. What would government do? And where would their source of revenue come from? So this is an example where we use the minerals, is natural minerals from the planet, but it's not being replenished. But we're going to lose it. So it's the same. We do have a lot of natural resources like forests, but the more you clear the forest and not replanting, we won't have the greens anymore. And that would not help the ecosystem, that would not have the vegetables and all that. So, and it will diminish. Yeah. So maybe people of my age would not be there for the next 15 years, but we may also be alive. And if we look forward, do we still have what we have today? Do we still have the water? Do we still have a clean air to breathe? Or would it be worse in the next 15 years? So when we talk about sustainability, it's about what we have now. We would like to have it in the next 15 years or in the next 20, 30 years to come. So that is about sustainability, where we consume, but don't finish everything today. Leave it for tomorrow. Yeah, that's basically is the mindset. And we employ people, but we need to make them happy, because people, they constitute the workforce. People, they constitute those who will help the company and support the company to conduct their business. Okay, and if those are ideally those would would results in a good profit, sustainable, consistent. Yeah, sustainable means to this year the company has profit, next year they have profit, and the years to come they still have profit. So that I think is the mindset behind what we talk about in terms of sustainability. Yeah. So then, today we need to look at I think I've presented the two important concepts and the emerging trends. And now, next is to look at technology and how technology, this is one of the trend that is very important, how technology is affecting the way we do work. And on another hand, technology brings as well opportunities for us, for the world, to mitigate or to overcome challenges from climate change. Yeah. And not only climate change, but also environment and social challenges that we have identified in the Global Risk Report. And one thing interesting about the accountancy profession is that for the past 100 or more than 100 years, for the past decades, the accountancy profession is adapting to its ecosystem. Yeah, it is adapting to its ecosystem. And the reason why accountancy profession is actually sits in the heart of any organization. So if we look at government, they do have Jabatan Accountant Negara. If we look at businesses, they do have the finance department. So as long as we do have means of payment, we do have the probably the currency that we use, and we do have the exchange, yeah, in one to another. There will be some sort of computation and calculation that need to happen. So that really what happened like 100 years ago, in the ancient era. I think that's where people starting to exchange goods and services. And I think we started with barter trade, but they then prepare their records. They prepare their records for if in order to ensure that the transaction between people are actually going well. Yeah, so that there won't be any conflict. And that was what stated, I think, in terms of the historical books about Luca Paciolo that used ledgers and memoranda and journals. In 1700, we moved into industrial revolution, the first industrial revolution, and that was those era where the term chartered accountant appears. Yeah, and we evolved when the ecosystem, the industry has evolved, and we also evolved, and we are part accountancy. We means accountants are part of the business, and they are preparing and comparing and compiling those records, and they prepare the accounts so that organization will be able to know what's the results, yeah, what's the outcome of the money they spend, and what's the outcome of the businesses that they have conducted. So at that time, I think we do have tools during that time, but of course we already have the balance sheet, income statement, and during that time, and we have the chartered accountants, certified public accountants, and I think some sort of exams were already there. And in 19,000, where we are more advanced, the human society is more advanced with post-industrial revolution. I think accountants also upgrade themselves. Then they actually no more use machines or punch card. They started to use accounting software. And in Industrial Revolution 4.0 now, you can see that the accountancy professions are using a lot of these tools, like the audit accounting software, ERP, and they use drones for the audit. They use also QR codes and barcodes and blockchain, for example, artificial intelligence, so data analytics and robotic processes. And accountants are using this technology to make themselves more efficient. So what happened is that when the tools are there taking care of all the mundane process, all the repetitive process. Accountants move in their value chain. They're not very much involved in preparing the accounts, the ledgers anymore. They do get those information from the system and they use their intelligence to do analysis and to assist the organization, yeah, public sector or business to make decisions. So the role of accountants already changed, yeah, into being the business partners. So, and I think each of these gadgets or tools, they are tools to make the work of accountant much more efficient, and so that accountants can deploy their intelligence to be the advisors, to be the partners, to be the decision makers. So tools like big data, cloud computing, AI, Internet of Things, yes, are actually helping the work of the accountants. And but in the on the same at the same time, accountants need to take care of cybersecurity. So like, and then in terms of augmented reality, that assists, for example, in teaching, perhaps simulation. We look at sensitivity analysis. Autonomous robots are being deployed in manufacturing context. Yeah, so these are tools. These are tools. So I'm aware of this Chat GPT. ChatGPT has been, I think, the hype, and I have used ChatGPT myself, yeah. But ChatGPT is an AI. We know that AI has been there, and AI is powered by machine learning and deep learning. So the ability of ChatGPT is very much influenced by its ability for machine learning and deep learning. And with regards to the accountancy, yeah, accountancy, uh, probably accountancy knowledge, I think ChatGPT is still, yeah, improving itself. So the latest news, uh, ChatGPT took the CPA or CPA exam, the US CPA exam. First time ChatGPT failed, but the second time with ChatGPT 4.0, recently ChatGPT 4.0 managed to pass the exam. Yeah, so that is because of the machine learning. It takes time, yeah, for this AI created by human to be able to move into this technical field, yeah, of knowledge. So but then don't be afraid, don't be afraid. But what we have to do is we need to know how to use all these tools to make ourselves more efficient, yeah, more effective and efficient. So that is the thing that we need to do. So one MIA Digital Technology Blueprint, MIA issued out what they call a MIA Digital Technology Blueprint. This was issued out, I think, 2018. Like 5 years ago, MIA already said that please look around, that look forward, that the technology is getting better, and the profession need to adapt as much as the profession has adapted for the past many hundred years. And now we need to adapt to the future. So in order to adapt, we need to learn. We need to identify how to use these tools to make ourselves more relevant. So you can see that this is the aspiration in the MIA Digital Technology Blueprint for public practice. Yeah, those firms need to retain, reimagine, and innovate their practices and services. Yeah, they may use ChatGPT, part of their knowledge management, and then those in public sector to leverage on digital technology to achieve an efficient and effective public financial management. And those in commerce and industry, definitely there are many opportunities for them to deploy, and one of the glaring one is to have a better data management, and to harness the data to make better decision. And those in academia is to equip your accounting talent pipeline with the necessary knowledge and skills to understand and leverage on the global digital economy ecosystem. So we have to be prepared. We have to know, to understand what are the tools, how the tools work, and how the tools can be used in making us more efficient and effective. Okay, so this comes from MIA documentation as well. It came from a lot of articles. It also came from the MIA competency framework, and also you can see this being presented or being advocated by the International Federation of Accountants. So skill sets, the big skill sets, required by accountants to embrace technology is the technological skill sets and abilities to handle digital tools. And when you handle the tools and you deploy that, the next thing that you need is your ability to communicate either in English or any language, but the communication is very important. Communication is not just ability to speak, but communication is ability to make your message to be understood by the other person. Yeah, so that is communication. And the third one, very importantly, is to have that critical thinking, creativity, strategic and analytical skill set, and outcome oriented mindset. And this is becoming more important, and this skill set will differentiate an accountant who can progress during their career, or accountant who will stay put and become irrelevant. Yeah, because whenever we have emerging technologies, whenever we have emerging challenges, issues, risks, and opportunities, our critical thinking would enable us to dissect what are the problem, and then your creativity to would enable you to find the solution, and strategic and analytical skill would enable you to also look at the competitive edge. Yeah, that's really very important. So how you want to have, to brush up your critical thinking? uh I think most importantly is your ability to apply your basic accounting knowledge. Yeah. So basic accounting knowledge to be applied to real world scenario, that actually brush up, your critical thinking. That is through your case study oriented, your knowledge of the knowledge of the latest news, knowledge of the business. So you need to have a lot of reading, and you need to be able to apply and ask a lot of questions. You also need some inquisitive mind, that in order for you to understand the dynamics, what is changing in the world. And finally is your ability to embrace change and able to read trends. Very importantly, ability to embrace change. Change is constant. Yeah. I have probably worked for 30 years. Some of the knowledge, like maybe some principle that I learned during degree program, I can still learn, I can still remember, but the principle can probably be applied, but maybe the content, the context would already be changing. So now we are facing a lot of challenges from environment and climate. So I took this program on climate change and net zero, and recently I took another certification called Certified ESG Analyst. Yeah, that is for upskilling and to be relevant to embrace change. And this is the critical skill sets for next generation of accountants. Yeah, you need to have, of course, your technical accounting skills. You need to learn the standards which are keep changing. I think we can see that the MFRS are changing, MPERS are changing. There's a new set of MPERS, coming out soon. I think it's in the process. So, and now there is a new standard on sustainability reporting standard. Uh, Also produced by, going to be released by IFRS Foundation, which is having a new board called the International Sustainability Standard Board. So those are the skill, technical knowledge. Then you need to be the change agent, the one that spread the information, and most importantly, to understand and to educate yourself to be able to embrace change. Then you need to understand commercial, the context if you're working for a business. Then goal setting skills that help you to be focused, goal setting skills that help your strategic mindset to be trendy and agile. Trendy and agile is not about how you dress and what gadgets, but trendy and agile in terms of your professional skills. that emotional intelligence is also becoming more important, because I think there's a lot of people matters that you need to handle, social matters. Yeah, S is part of the ESG. Then understanding of regulatory and compliance, being a good communicator, having industry awareness, internet savvy, use internets in a correct way where you can get better knowledge and better information, a bit of IT audit ability if you can, and your understanding of ERP accounting system as accounting students of the or as accountants. And therefore, I think many of us found that we need to upskill while we need to uphold our ethics, integrity, accountability, and trust. So we uphold in terms of our ethical behavior, integrity, accountability, but we are upskill in terms of technical skills, our communication skills, our knowledge. Yeah. So there are 6 characteristics of digital leadership, which I think will be very, very important. And because I also noticed that sometimes the the digitalization didn't work that well because of leadership that may not understand digital properly. Yeah. So first, if looking at digital leadership, is to recognize that digital is not always about scale or the flashy project. It's about transforming people and the way they work, the way they use the tool for being more efficient. Yeah, so that's important. Secondly, is to develop this digital skill across the organization, not just within particular department, not just within the IT department. It has to be across. It has to cut across all departments or all divisions. Third is to instill your digital strategy, integrating the digital process and technology to serve and shape business and artistic strategies. And fourth, to provide leaders with a mandate and budget. So budget must be there, very importantly, to test and embed the technology and agile ways of working. And then fifth is to start all programs with use of research and user needs. So we need to understand what exactly the needs of the user before we embrace and adopt a particular tool. Yeah. And then finally, we have to inspire the teams. Yeah, celebrates achievement and showcase the achievement. So MIA, after the years of promoting technology, so now MIA has actually uh, launched what we call Digital Technology Adoption Award. And this award, you can participate whether you are from university or from firms. There are various categories. Yeah, there are categories for academic, categories for firms, categories for businesses to participate in the Digital Technology Adoption Award. Okay, I would like to share with you, one video, especially for students. This is about how the accountants, nowadays accountants, they are not, those those probably accountants in those years, we still with a calculator, but accountants of the current generation and the future is already technology based accountants. Yeah, let's look at this video and take a deep breath.
With the rise of automation, every industry has been restructured and redefined, paving the way for technological advancements to accelerate progress. This transformation may impose challenges that will test the relevance of most industries across the globe. At the same time, it can also be seen as new opportunities to further improve existing professional accountancy practices across all industries towards sustainable value creation. The accountancy profession is poised to play a critical role in the nation's ongoing journey of digital transformation towards becoming a digitally driven nation. Emerging technology
Looks like the pictures are not coming out.
with
Can we?
With the rise of automation, every industry has been restructured and redefined, paving the way for technological advancements to accelerate progress. This transformation may impose challenges that will test the relevance of most industries across the globe. At the same time, It can also be seen as new opportunities to further improve existing professional accountancy practices across all industries towards sustainable value creation. The accountancy profession is poised to play a critical role in the nation's ongoing journey of digital transformation towards becoming a digitally driven nation. Emerging technologies such as cloud computing, artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity, and data analytics will enable the accountancy professionals to advance to a more strategic role as trusted business partners. By adopting technology, accountants' work will become more exciting and moving up in the value chain. It is MIA's value creation goal to drive digital transformation to future-proof the profession so that accountants can create more value for business and better support business continuity and sustainability towards nation building. We have developed the MIA Digital Technology Blueprint as a guide for professionals to respond to Industrial Revolution 4.0, thus equipping them for the digital industry. To strengthen our claim, we have established these 5 principles as the key pillars in managing the needs of IR 4.0. Assess digital technology trends, identify capabilities, harness digital technology, funding, good governance. The accountancy profession will readjust to cater to the need to be digitally literate, together with enhancing soft skills akin to language fluency, articulation, persuasion, leadership qualities, and creative mindsets geared to problem solving. MIA aspires to enhance and empower you throughout your individual digital journey with financial expertise and the amalgamation of technological advancements and innovation for better business acumen to support economic, social, and environmental sustainability. By leveraging on emerging technologies, we can help businesses in all sectors and sizes succeed in this era. Technology will continue to evolve and transform, and we will continue to be here to support value creation in businesses and society. Together, we are future ready. Regulate, develop, and advance.
All right, so I think the word is together, we are future ready. Yeah. So this brings me to another topic that, technology would also assist us, the human species, to probably potentially overcome the challenges from sustainability and challenges from environmental disruptions. Yeah. So, and this is from the World Economic Forum. It says that the technology would be very instrumental in helping us to achieve the UN SDG on what we call the global goals. I think you probably would be informed already, or you are aware about United Nations 17 UN SDG. The goals include people social, includes environment, it includes prosperity, and includes partnership to the goals. Right, and we also have seen that there are a lot of disruptions from climate change in Malaysia. We've seen flood, we've seen earthquake in Indonesia, we've seen also heat wave. Now we are experiencing the heat wave. The El Nino, I think, is getting hotter in June and July as per prediction of the meteorology department. So we are getting hotter and warmer, and now even as I speak, the temperature in India is probably 47 degrees Celsius, and in Thailand they have reached, I think in Bangkok they have reached above 40 degrees Celsius as well. So it's getting very warm. And these are the environmental, social, and governance list of areas. There's a lot here. And if I were to go through, I think that'll take another probably few hours. So, but it means that these are areas that are becoming challenging, and these are areas to look for, and areas where business and society and organizations yeah, need to take care of. Yeah, so environment includes like carbon emission, it includes water pollution, air pollution, includes issues like the waste management. We are not handling our waste very well, so you see rubbish are actually piling up, and all these actually thrown in on the landfill, and it is getting more costly to handle. So, and social, we can see issues about, foreign labor, issues about refugee. Okay, so that we can see in Malaysia. And governance, I think we are still grappling with issues on corruption. In a big way, we are still grappling with these issues, and also issues of misappropriation of fund and all that. So those in power, those are supposed to uphold the governance, and also to lead people in behaving well, but uh, they are being charged because of corruption. So this is not a good leadership. That when we are grappling with this, so we need to enhance the way we behave as a society, enhance our culture. So this is very important because sometimes because of corruption, the enforcement on climate are not being properly taken. There were cases where enforcement on pollutions probably are not taken properly because of corruption. Yeah. So those are the things that make it more difficult for the society. So let's look at another video on climate change. I think it's easier to see this video that you can feel, how climate change will be impacting us.
If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon. The world's people have spoken. Their message is clear. Time is running out.
The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere now is 50% higher than it was in 1900. And not only are we piling in more and more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, but we are chopping down the forests of the earth at a great rate. And the forests themselves are the most efficient consumers of carbon dioxide that there are on Earth. We're going to destroy the ground because the soil of a rainforest isn't very good. We are actually tampering with the climate of the Earth and with the very atmosphere that we breathe. When we talk about the disappearance of the ozone layer, we don't know what will happen when the ozone layer goes. The world has become so fragile that we cannot subject the Earth to the tortures we can now inflict upon it. When we talk about the greenhouse effect, we're talking about something that affects the entire Earth. And these problems are life and death problems. They go to the root of the viability of the planet itself.
Look at all the rubbish. A lot. That's the landfill.
So if there's one thing that is biologically certain about the human species is that it is a human species, one species.
If we don't stop the destruction of our natural world, nothing else will matter. Simply put, if we don't protect nature, we can't protect ourselves.
The only way we can solve a problem is by a human solution. Never can we sit back and wait for miracles to save us. Miracles don't happen. Sweat happens. Efforts happens. Thought happens.
Okay, I think that probably trigger our mind in terms of what is impacting. So actually, how we were impacted during the COVID-19 would probably be this probably the destruction would be happening like COVID-19, but it probably be in a different way of destruction. So you can see that I have two the left and right two examples. So during the COVID-19, you can see that businesses are changing. For example, during that time, you can't take the trip overseas. The commercial airlines offer cargo flights. They actually carry goods and services rather than carrying people. And restaurants, they cannot open during that time, and they become a grocery market where they deliver through delivery and online. And we can see there's an increase in online shopping and food deliveries. But when it's climate, you can see that agricultural produce is affected. So we may not have enough food, certain food especially, and because agricultural produce is affected and there's less output. Yeah, there could be some different kind of food when we don't have the natural food. And then there would be products, there are green products that would be available. There's an opportunity, but those products that are not green may not be preferred, yeah, by customers who are more aware. Then I think there are new regulations that's coming. So as I speak, the government actually is in the process of coming out with the rang undang-undang perubahan iklim negara, RUUPIN, and we are we are actually looking forward, the government is looking forward to adopt that in 2025. So regulations are coming. Yeah. And one of the regulations that may impact in a big way if it's coming is the introduction of carbon tax. Introduction of carbon tax means that, you know, if you produce carbon that is above certain amount, then you have to pay tax. So that potentially would affect businesses that are really, you know, intensive carbon emitters. Then they have to pay tax. Then the cost of product and services may be higher as well. Yeah, so this is something to look out with. Yeah, so I think me at the moment government said they're not ready to introduce, but Singapore is already introducing. Australia has carbon tax, so a lot of other countries also have introduced carbon tax. So I think this is where, you know, tax and accountants are always very close. Then we need to look out for this kind of development. And there are recent opportunities, you know, for example, COVID-19 is actually transforming how companies use digital technology, but and also in climate, yeah, technology would also be that trigger factor, also be an important factor to assist, yeah, in terms of mitigating these risks and overcoming the challenges. But we need to look also at the enablers, like there has to be technology governance, responsible technology governance. We need leadership to mobilize commitment and standards. We need partnership for collaboration and collective action. We need an efficient public policy. We need finance mechanism to stimulate market solution. We have now offering, like we have the climate finance, sustainable finance product. We do have sustainable investment product as well. And then breakthrough innovation will, of course, will help a lot. But in order to have that breakthrough innovation, the R&D, you know, has to be expedited. And usage of data and tools are also very, very important, especially, for example, if we want data on climate, on carbon emission, or we want data on waste, production, and then we need to be able to have the tools to collate and analyze those data. And most importantly, capacity development. A lot, I think now knowledge on environment and social and governance, or ESG, and knowledge on sustainability need to be there. Everyone need to have that knowledge so that you know how it is affecting you personally, how it's affecting your organization, and how it's affecting the society. So you need to know the knowledge, probably a bit of the technical knowledge, we won't be expert like the chemical engineers or those who took environmental study, but at least we know what is going on and how it's affecting our work and our life. So this is one of the companies, Siemens. They do have a huge R&D looking at how technology can drive a sustainable economic recovery, and this technology mainly looking at identifying green products, identifying energy that are not emitting carbon, that we call green energy. So these are basically some of the areas, of technology that could attract like 2 trillion. This is from McKinsey, 2 trillion of capital per year by 2025. And these technology are looked at to, this technology are looked at as the technology that can assist in reducing or minimizing gas emission. So first is electrification. That's where you probably read about electronic vehicle where they're not using the petrol, but they are being charged by green electric, especially. Yeah, and building are also using electric from solar. Yeah, those are the examples. Agriculture, they try to look at farm equipment, this which is zero emission. They try to also look at methane inhibitors. So those are some of the technology. And as far as the current electric supply that we have that are generated from coal, from coal arang, are actually emitting. They are really carbon intensive electricity production. So Tenaga Nasional are moving into green technology, green electricity that are not emitting carbon. For example, the best example in Malaysia is electricity generated from solar, from solar. So from the that they actually use the solar panel, and there's another alternative energy as well from hydrogen. A lot of research on this area. The final one is the right one is carbon capture, where Petronas has embarked on carbon capture, where they try to collect the carbon from the ecosystem, from environment, and store it below the earth, or store it in a way that it won't affect the environment. So these are some of the examples of technology. Yes, it is probably very much being driven by the engineers or the environmental staff. But as an accountant, we need to know, because we handle the financing, we handle the costs, we handle the expenses, we handle the potential revenue. So we need to understand the new opportunities or new costs coming from this development, that we have to understand. And then at the tail end, this is always the favorite role of accountant, is the reporting. The reporting, where these are the reporting frameworks that are coming, like the one TCFD is actually a recommended reporting guideline from Task Force of Climate Financial Disclosure. And then integrated reporting, you probably have heard, which is reporting on non-financial information. The Sustainability Accounting Standard Board that is now being part of the IFRS Sustainability. You look at these three, SASB, TCFD, integrated reporting, they are now part of IFRS Sustainability. But on the other hand, we have another reporting framework called Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, where GRI has a lot of disclosure guideline on environmental, social, and governance. So you need to go and Google this one. I don't have much time to go through one by one, but it is important to know, because in Malaysia, for public listed entity, the Bursa Malaysia will make it mandatory to report on, for example, TCFD by 2025. And there are already requirements for public listed company to report on their carbon, on their water that they use, and on the training for the staff. So on the social part, already there are requirements. Yeah, so we need to understand this. So, and the other thing, as the guardian of the ERP, sometimes as the guardian of the financial system, we see that the sustainability disclosure and financial statement disclosure, they are very related. Like the sustainability disclosure includes like the greenhouse gas emission, and those are disclosed in tons. And but we know that in terms of the amount spent, it relates to the utility expenses. Yeah, so there's a connection. And water is in the metric cubic, and then waste on metric tons, employee on hours and day, and ESG related capex. So the left one, they're not in currency. Yeah, they're not in currency, but the right one, they are defined in monetary terms. So, but they are related. Yeah, so the question forward is, how do we actually connect and these systems, and how we integrate the information, so that we need to look back at our reporting system. And one way or another, if you're an accountant, you have to be part of that. Yeah. So these are the software that are available on the market. There are a few that are already available, like, we have this company Softtech 360, and we have ESG disclosure, Clarity AI, and Diligent. These are some of the names of those that we have on the market. So the members of accountancy profession, last but not least, they work in various capacity. They are board members. They are also the CEO, CFO, and of course, as an accountant, they are risk managers. They are internal auditors, external auditors. And for the graduates, these are also areas where you can embark on in your career journey. So, and these, all of them, they do have to deal with environmental, social, and governance as well. So the knowledge is important. Okay. So therefore, accountants have a lot of role to play in technology and ESG and sustainability. So you need to start acquiring the knowledge. You need to know what is happening, and then you are able to play the role. So the word accountants can save the world, I think, came from uh, Professor Mervyn King. Okay, that actually he's very passionate on all these integrated reporting and sustainability reporting. So it is now, I think, for all graduates, you need to be aware. You need to start, reading what's on the website, reading information about all this. Be prepared when you go out, and when you graduated and you go out to the workplace, they will ask you, you may have to handle this information as well. Okay, thank you very much. I hope that give you a bit of a flavor on the trends that very important for the accountants and the accountancy profession to stay relevant. Thank you. So I'd like to hand it over to uh to to the moderator, Zahira. Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Nurmazilah. So now moving on to the next Q&A sessions. So dear participants, if you guys have any questions about this topic, you can just turn on the mic or just type it in chat box. I will read it for you. All right, the first questions. What functions are played by Malaysian Institute of Accountants, MIA, in developing qualified accountants and auditors in the country? So that's the first questions, Doctor.
Okay, so if you look at the functions of the MIE, based on the Accountancy Act, the first function is to to identify the skill sets of the accountants that need to be relevant to the ecosystem. Yeah, so then this is where MIA identified the skill sets, and you can see the MIA has the MIA competency framework. MIA competency framework become the basis to admit members as the member of MIA. So MIA is a statutory body, and it is governed by Accountants Act, and the role is also to register those who want to call themselves accountants in Malaysia, and in order for them to be registered, they need to meet the requirement of the competency framework. The MIA competency framework is actually the DNA of the MIA members. So that is where, and from that point, so once they are admitted as a member, then they will actually have to go through induction, and then they attend training to upskill themselves. There are various training that is provided by MIA. That is another function by MIA, which is to provide continuous professional education, and members have to fulfill their training requirements so that they get updated skills. Yeah. So MIE also spread their wings. They do go down to educational institution to assist, to provide awareness on their standards, to provide awareness on the development in the profession. So they do spread their wings to assist educational institution in knowledge, the latest knowledge relating to the profession. So as far as auditors is concerned, the requirement for you to become an auditor, if you want to be the auditor to audit companies to provide external audit, then you need to have the license. So MIA provide that guidance, for auditors to be interviewed to get their license. They have a specific cost for that. So you need your MIA membership. After having your MIA membership, you need at least like 4 years experience in audit before you can apply for your auditing license. So, and before you can apply for your auditing license, you also need to apply for practicing certificate from Malaysia, from MIA, and then you can actually then apply for the license, went through the interview process. Yeah. So, and after that, MIA also has the Auditing and Assurance Standards Board, and the auditors need to attend all those training to enable them to perform their role as an auditor. So there's a lot of process within that nurturing of the accountants and auditors.
All right. So let's move on to the next questions. What is MIA's strategy to attract the young generation to visit their website?
Right. So MIA has its strategic communication department, and the strategy in communication is not just about visiting website. The communication strategy of MIA encompass various channel. And for example, MIA has its Facebook, it has its LinkedIn, it has its it has its Twitter. So information, and it also has its own Telegram. Yeah, it's not just website. So MIA will identify what information that will be pushed through the social media, what will be pushed through the website. So website, of course, has more detailed information, all the guideline, all the all the acts and the standards, they are there. But through the social media, the push message would be articles like Accountants Today. When there are new articles, will be pushed there. Any announcement, any thought leadership will be pushed through the social media. So the social media become the initial touch point, and from that touch point, that will bring the young generation to visit their website. So nowadays, young generation, they seldom visit websites. They like to their touch point is always on social media, But sometimes if they want to get more details, they have to prepare their assignments and all that. Then only they visit website. The other thing is if they through the search engine of Google, that is also where MIA strategy is. When they Google something, I think it will bring to MIA website. Yeah, if you Google code of ethics, it will bring to MIA website. So those are the strategies. It's not just about website, but it's a larger touch points on communication. And I think MIA has its YouTube. There are many videos on YouTube which are actually very informative. So the YouTube video are also being shared on the social media. Then they will be able to click the link and watch the YouTube.
All right, thank you so much. So for the next questions, so it's a long questions from Nurmazilah. As a student in diploma in accounting information system, I can see how the technology become the most important thing to future accountant. For example, as a DA student, I did my programming. Here we learn to do a simple accounting programming system, which actually has a big impact. Open up us to more job opportunities in future. However, we knew that this kind of course only exists in UiTM Tapa and also Perlis and BAIS offered by UUM. Means that hard to see this kind of course available at the other universities. From your point of view, as a former CEO of MIA, how do you see this issue as an urgent need to Malaysian accounting students? What actions have been taken to fulfill this urgent need? Thank you very much.
All right, that's very interesting. I think I can answer this without being a former CEO. Right, I am a member of MIA, by the way, and also MIA is a member of International Federation of Accountant, and I still keep my knowledge. I keep abreast with a lot of development of the profession. So, International Federation of Accountant, you also need to know this. MIA is a member, and since I think the one of the founder as well of the IFAC, so we always work in collaboration globally. Yeah, we always work in collaboration globally. So, International Federation of Accountant has what they call the International Education Standard (IES). Yeah, and they do have that group they call advisory group on education. So back then in 2019, 2020, there's a big effort which MIA also participated in relooking at the international education standard and actually including, embedding, integrating the technology skill sets into that standard. And and the CFM, the Composite Framework of Malaysia, being issued, that also is already calibrated and updated with the international education standard. So it is already there on the role of technology is a lot in the communication, and you can also look at IFAC website. There's a lot of information and articles on that. And so the advocacy on the importance of giving the technology to the future accountants are already done. Yeah, already there, and it's ongoing. Okay, ongoing. So perhaps today is part of the advocacy to um to bring awareness on this importance. Okay, but again, there are many tuition providers in Malaysia, and each tuition providers or education providers would have their own strategy in terms of offering their course. Yeah. So in Malaysia, we have many universities that offer accounting. I think under the MQR, Malaysian Qualification Register, there are about more than 100 institutions that offer accounting programs. A few public universities as well as private universities. So, so again, uh, you know, the COMSI framework has already included that. It depends on any education institutions how to strategize and how to make their product marketable and future relevant and market relevant. So I think it's hard even for Ministry of Higher Education to enforce or to make it compulsory, because each and every institution has their strategy and it has their own resources. Some may not have resources that can, teach programming to accounting students. So therefore, making it mandatory would not be probably easy. So therefore, it again depends. So, but I do know that providers, some universities already have that. Like, congratulations to UiTM, Tapa, and Perlis. You do have this. I think UUM has this. Those are public universities. And private universities like Asia Pacific University, they very much technology plus accounting. They do have that infusion, yeah, and incorporation of knowledge. And a lot of universities have started to incorporate. So I think that again, it is a lot of awareness and advocacy, and through the incorporation of technology into the education standard, as is already being done and is ongoing to provide that awareness. And MIA itself, through the Digital Technology Implementation Committee, they do have reps from academia as well, and MIE with that reps from academia, and they do also issued out report on the skill sets to accounting education. So the report is available on MIE website, and the report has been sent to Ministry of Higher Education. So I suppose it has to be roles played by all. Everyone need to play the role with the awareness that has been given. So, I think that's the way to go.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Dato, for the explanation. So all guys, have you guys any questions?
All right. Any more questions?
Any
Yeah.
questions?
Looks like there is no more questions.
Yeah. I think there is no more questions. So we thank you very much, Dr. Zila, for a great presentation, which is very fruitful and has elevated our knowledge to the current issues in accounting field.
All right. Thank you very
Gratitude from
much for
our
having
faculty.
me. Thank you very much.
Can we have a photo session with you, Dr. Nurmazilah?
Sure. I'll be very pleased to do so.
Okay, please switch on or turn on your camera. All right. Ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, next screen. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next. 1, 2, 3. Next screen. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, no more. All right.
Thank you, and all the best to students. Hope you will, be a member of MIE one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nurmazilah.
And thank you again for accepting our invitation. We are looking forward for the next session next year.
Ya, boleh, insyaAllah.
InsyaAllah.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.